Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In this video, we're going to look at a 2017 Lexus LX570. This is an incredible luxury SUV from Lexus, and I really love this thing. This is going to be a great video. The LX570 comes standard with a ton of equipment that obviously is going to be luxury and safety and technology and all those things that you would expect from a vehicle at this price point and basically of this caliber. However, it does have some optional equipment on it that takes it up to the $98,125 mark, and that's as follows. Cool box, $170. 21-inch alloy wheels, $745. Heads-up display, $900. Luxury package, $1,190. Mark Levinson audio system, $2,350. Dual screen DVD rear entertainment system, that's $2,005. And the cargo mat, cargo net, wheel locks, and key gloves, that's $260. Cool box. You can see you can press that button and it'll cut it on and off, but this is actually cold. It feels like a refrigerator cold. It's not just routing it from the AC, because the AC right now is set to 72, and it is called a cool box. It is not a refrigerator because it does cut off when the car cuts off, so do not put perishable items in the cool box, okay? The wheelbase is 112.2 inches. The overall length is 200 inches even. The overall width is 78 inches. Overall height is 75.2 inches. The ground clearance is 8.9 inches. Raise the hood. You're going to feel for a little latch that's just to the right of the Lexus emblem, and just raise it, and it'll stay up for you because it's on shocks. And this is a 5.7 liter V8 dual overhead cam 32 valve with variable valve timing with intelligence. It has 383 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 403 pound-foot of torque at 3,600 RPM. You can see your brake fluid reservoirs there. It does take fully synthetic oil, windshield washer fluid. The battery is under that cover. Air box. Check out the voice commands here.
Please say a category name.
It's too hot.
Cooler.
And you see where it says low right there? It just lowered the temperature by 4 degrees. Automatically with my voice.
Please say a category name.
I'm hungry.
Find dining. Please say the list number.
Number 3.
Number 3. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All I did was press the voice commands button on the steering wheel. I said I was hungry. I picked a number, and then I said yes. Starting at the top, you have lock, unlock, hold, and hold again for the panic alarm. You can press lock once and that'll lock all the doors. You can press unlock once, it unlocks the driver's door, or press it twice and it unlocks all 4 doors plus the rear hatch. And then you can press and hold the next button down, and that's for the rear tailgate. And then I just pressed and held it again, and that closed it up for us. And then I can press and hold the panic alarm button there, and that's the one on the bottom, and that will set off the panic alarm. And all I did to deactivate that was press unlock. They're really interesting looking taillights, and those are LED. And take a look at that silver garnish right there at the very top. And it's kind of interesting to see how the rear tail light sticks out from the body. You see how that kind of juts out there. You have little dots on the bumper, and that's park assist. That's the sensor that beeps if you get too close to something at parking lot speeds. One of the coolest features of the LX is the fact that it has a full air suspension. Let's take a look at how that works right now. And what I did there to make it go up and down is I flipped a switch that's in the center console, moved that up and down. That will adjust the height of the LX up and down. And that's mainly for adjusting for ride terrain, but it's also for adjusting load leveling in the event that you have items that you need to store or to put in the back. It allows the vehicle to be dropped much further down, allowing you easier access into the back. You can see that you have a seat that's folded against the wall, and then one that's in the down position. And the way you control those seats is right here, along this little bank of buttons, and that's for the right side, that's for the left side. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna start on this side. If the seat is in the up position against the wall, you're going to start in this furthest left position, and you're going to hold it, and that'll drop the seat down, and that'll bring, and I'm pushing it right to bring the seat back up. Okay, so that's for down, that's for up. Once it's in the down position and locked into the floor, you can pull this tab, and it will allow it to come up into place. And now you've got part of a third row. In order to put it back in the up position against the wall, push that forward, and then you can take this button, the far right one, and you can press that down. It's going to fold it, and then you're going to press this tab on the right side of that toggle. And once it does the double beep, that indicates that it's securely against the wall. Take a look at this incredibly luxurious back seat. Climate control, heated and ventilated seats. Everything about this is just luxury to the max. And then you have your DVD players right there. And then you can actually take this screen, tilt it way out. Extremely nice. You also have inputs down here in this panel. You can see there in that panel you have HDMI inputs, you have an auxiliary port for power, and then you have volume control for your headrest. Here's your 21-inch wheels. And these are sitting on Dunlop 275, 50, 21. Those are big wheels, and those are an option, but I can't imagine an LX without that wheel. To start it up, you just have the key on your person, put your foot on the brake, and tap the button. What a gorgeous vehicle. You've got your 12.3-inch navigation screen. That display is absolutely incredible. You've got the analog clock, and that is GPS enabled. In other words, if you cross a time zone, it can reset automatically. And you have your climate vents there to the left and right of the clock. And then you've got this center portion for radio and climate controls. And you also have leather that is stitched leather that is right here on either side of that. But just take a look at the panels that are along the left and the right side of that climate control system. This is the power button for your stereo. CD player, so you actually have a disc, a place that you put the CD right here. And this is for play or pause the CD, tune and scroll. And so what you're going to do is just tune the radio station there, or the FM, XM. The difference between radio and media. Radio is AM, FM, and XM. Media is everything else. USB, iPod, Bluetooth, auxiliary, all the things like that. Auto allows you to set the climate system at a certain temperature. And there it says low right here now. You can see it's the same on the other side. And so whenever you press auto, it's going to automatically, see, auto is off right now. And so I'm going to increase the temperature here, let's say to 72. And I'm going to press auto. And right now, since auto is on, the vehicle is going to automatically maintain the cabin temperature at 72 degrees. It works just like the central air in your house. This is your automatic parking brake, and when that light is on, that means it will automatically engage and disengage the parking brake whenever you take it in and out of drive or park. So when I put my foot on the brake and I put it in reverse, you see the light went out. It automatically disengaged the parking brake, and then when I place it back in park, it engages it. You'll see the light come on. There it is. And you can manually do that. So I just pushed it forward and the light went off, and then I pulled it back and the light comes back on. So for your transmission with your shifter, you have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and S, and that is manual shift. So there's reverse, neutral, drive, and at any speed I can shift it to the left and gear up and down manually. I push it forward to upshift, pull it back to downshift, and it is an 8-speed sequential shift transmission. Sequential simply meaning what I was just doing, shifting it like that. Let's take a look at this whole remote touch controller system. And what this allows me to do is to use all of the functions on the navigation screen, and climate, audio, navigation, to change around all of my settings, basically anything that I can want to do in the car. I've got an enter button here on the left side. There's also an enter button on the right side for the passenger, if the passenger wanted to use some of these functions while you're riding down the road. So starting from the top on the left, I have map, I have up and down, back arrow, and menu. This is the remote touch controller itself, and you can see the arm or the rest, like for your wrist is right here, and that basically just allows you to put your wrist on it so you can use it. So I'm going to be using these buttons here, but I'm going to show you what pops up on the screen, okay? So on the screen right now, I just pressed enter, and starting from the left, I have destination, radio, media, phone, Lexus app suite, info, climate, and setup. These are the main functions of everything that I'm going to be able to do in the vehicle right from the menu button. On the far right side, I have a quick access menu, and that is navigation, music, phone, fuel settings, climate. I can change the display, and that right there indicates that there's no phone hooked up via Bluetooth. So to display, I can cut the screen off. I can change the brightness and the contrast of the screen itself while I'm looking at it, or the camera. So let's go to General, and I can up the brightness if I want to. I can change the contrast. And then I don't have to hit save or anything. All right, so destination. This is how, obviously, I find a destination: by address, point of interest. Web search is in gray. That's because I don't have a phone hooked up with the Lexus Inform app suite and all those things. I don't have that hooked up right now, so that's not going to be highlighted. Destination assist, previous. Address book, emergency, intersection, map, and coordinates. For the most part, you're going to use address, the ones that are on page 1 right here. You see that? These first few. So address is how I find a destination if I already know the address. Point of interest is places if I know the name, phone number, category, or e-destination. Name is like Walmart, Bank of America, that type of thing. Category is coffee shop, restaurant, hotel, bank. Phone number, obvious what that is. And e-destination is a service that you use on LexusDrivers.com that allows you to input, say, an itinerary of addresses, and then I can build that itinerary, hit enter, and send it to the car. And then when I come out, I can hit e-destination and download, and that will download my itinerary. Pretty nifty. Destination Assist is live help from Lexus. It's dedicated Lexus support. When you hit that, they'll say, welcome to Destination Assist. Where would you like to go? You don't have to tell them where you are, who you are, what you're driving, or anything. You can actually just say, let's say we're in Atlanta and I want to go to an antique store. I can hit it and actually just say, find the nearest antique store. And then they'll find it, they'll send it to the car, and the car takes over. Obvious what that is, previous destinations. Presets, I can hit go home, and I can enter my home now. Now, what I recommend doing, if you actually put your home address in there, do not put your actual physical address. If your address is 123 Main Street, do not put 123 Main Street as your home address. Put like an intersection near your house, or a store right by your house, because if someone is able to actually steal your vehicle, take your key and take your car, they can hit go home and go right to your house. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are quick access points, places that you go most often. That's destination. And then you have radio, and that's where you're going to memorize your radio stations. I'm going to go source, and then I'm going to hit FM. Let's make sure it doesn't blast us out of here. Okay, inside the mixed presets right here on the radio, what that will allow me to do is to mix my presets, and by mix I mean mix the sources. So I can combine AM, FM, and XM all on one page, and I have 6 pages of 6 presets. This is page 1. And then I can go to page 2, there's another 6, page 3, another 6. So I can go to 36 if I want to. You can see you have FM right here. And so now I can go to FM and listen to this radio station if I want to. If I get tired of that, I can switch over to AM. If I get tired of that, I can switch over to XM. So I can combine my different presets, or I can mix presets so that I don't have to jump back and forth between sources. I can have them all right here combined. That's really what I recommend doing. That is excellent. Okay, so this is the center console of the LX570, and there are several switches that are going on here. Starting with your heated seats, you have an automatic setting right here. So whenever that is on, whenever auto is on, it's going to automatically keep the temperature adjusted to coordinate with the climate control temperature in the car, and it will do it accordingly. So if it's really cold and you've got the temperature set at like 85, that's going to really increase the temperature of the driver's seat, and the opposite. So if it's hot and you have the temperature set at 65, it's going to adjust the temperature here of the fan in the ventilated seat. But you can actually override that just by pressing one of the two. That's the highest level. Next lowest, lowest, off. Heated steering wheel. And right here, this is called turn assist function. What this essentially does is whenever you're using crawl control is a feature that you're going to use in the event that you're in a really nasty, rocky, off-road situation, and essentially you activate crawl control and the vehicle will take over. It will use sensors in the drive system, the all-wheel drive system, and traction control and brake assist and all those safety features, and it will basically crawl over any nasty rocks and things. It's an incredible system as far as off-road capability. Crawl. This allows you to crawl up a nasty hill and also down. Traction control is here, and whenever you press that, you see track off in your tachometer. This is your locking center differential, and so essentially what that does is it puts an equal amount of power to all four wheels. ECT second is electronically controlled transmission. That's second start. So when you press that, you put it in drive, it changes the transmission ratios so that whenever you start in bad weather, it's going to reduce the likelihood of wheel slippage because it turns the wheels more slowly. Selectable drive modes. I can turn it to comfort, and I can also turn it again for eco, and you see these come up on the nav display system. And what that's going to do is it's going to control the throttle mapping to make it drive more fuel efficiently, but it's also going to work with the climate control system to pull back power from the climate control system so that it makes it more fuel efficient. I can turn it to sport, and I see sport pop up on there on the navigation system. That's the opposite of comfort. So it changes throttle mapping to make it have more torque on takeoff. And then I can turn it again, and that's Sport Plus. And what that does is it works with the transmission as well, and also steering to make the steering a little tighter. And turning it over here makes it a little less fuel efficient, but it makes it a little more fun to drive. I can also press down, and that makes it normal, or I can press down for customize so that I can customize the settings here, so I can make it like maybe a little more comfort plus sport, and if I change those settings around and I press it for customize, then it makes it go to my own setting. High, low, this is four-wheel drive, so four-wheel drive high is where you're going to have it predominantly, but if you need it for low, this has a 7,000 pound tow capacity, and so you would actually use low 4 if you're pulling something like a boat out of water or in just a tough situation and you need the little bit extra pulling power. This is selectable height, so you can actually press down on that and it will raise and lower the entire vehicle, or I can press it up and it's going to raise the entire vehicle. The default, whenever you reach a certain speed, it is going to go to neutral. So when I press high, it's going to go to high, and then I can also flip that switch down to low, but by default at a certain speed it is going to actually be in neutral for driving speeds, and this deactivates that feature to where it just is in a fixed neutral position. You have a camera right there that's under that Lexus emblem, and that's part of the whole camera system, and I'll show you all about that. And now this is what's seen out of the camera on the front of the grille. And you see auto is engaged, and auto means it automatically comes on at low speeds. So basically at like parking lot speeds, this is going to be on in the event that I need to park in a close quarters, or if I am pulling out of an area where my view is blocked on the left or the right by bushes or some other object, I can use this to see a little more effectively to the far left and far right. And I still have my camera here that's looking from above down onto the vehicle to basically help guide me into parking spaces or to tight areas using those yellow lines on the right. So when I turn my steering wheel, you can see that the grids begin to turn. The one on the left side, the screen on the left, is showing the grid moving to the left, so that if I begin to move, I can see that that's where the vehicle is going to end up. You see that? It's curved. So if I keep my steering wheel at the angle that I have it right now, that's where I'm going to end up. And then I'm going to turn it and line it up with the blue lines. And so that's where I'm going to end up. I'm just going to end up going straight back. So what you're going to want to do is when you're parking, if you're pulling a space backwards, in reverse, you're going to want to line those grids up with the white lines on a parking lot. And that's going to make sure that you get it right in the space. And there's a blue little square right there that in front of the vehicle, and then this yellow square. And the yellow square in the back turns, but you also notice that you see a yellow mark right here that comes out. This is where the corner of the LX is going to, that's the pathway, the trajectory that the front corner is going to take if I turn the wheel and I go backwards like that. You see that? And then this area represents kind of like an area for tolerance. So if I don't want to get any closer to an object than inside that grid. I want to keep everything outside that to stay safe from the possibility of running into something. And now I can take the remote touch controller beside the gear shifter, and I'm going to move it to the right, and that's going to allow me to change the grid design, the grid pattern of what pops up here. I'm going to press down, and now that is an X right there. And this is actually good for backing if I'm using a trailer, and these tell me where the trailer is going to end up, and that tells me my midpoint, the center point. I'm going to press it again, and you're going to see a red line only, red line. Then the grid's going to come back. Okay, and then I just moved it to the left, and you can see that I'm going to change the angle or the view of the camera right now. So it's more of a fisheye. I have a bigger field of view. You can see that's the one that's highlighted. Press it again. Now that's the one that's highlighted. It's a smaller field of view. You have LED triple beam headlights, and that is a headlight that's going to give you a much cleaner view of the road ahead at night and much brighter. Then you have your LED daytime running lights, and those have actually really become synonymous with Lexus as well. Then you have your LED lights down here, and these are LED fog lights, and those actually have accent lights that go underneath all the way down there inside of that casing there. In order to use automatic high beams, you have to press this, and then I can push the stalk forward, and that is going to activate your high beams so that when you're around other cars at night, the LX can sense that and they will dim automatically so as not to blind other people. HUD is heads up display. You see the display right there? And you can see a compass on the left. On the right is the speed limit. Below the speed limit it says P, that says we're in park. To the left of that it says eco off, and then it looks like there are two lines that are pointing toward the front of the car. And the heads-up display is in full color, so it will show different colors of on the screen. This is the first time in 2016 was the first time we ever offered a full color heads-up display. That icon is your front headlight washers. That little panel right there, that's your front headlight washer. You can actually wash off your headlight if you get debris or dirt or mud on it. Looking at the headlight stalk, you can see all along the left side there are icons. This is the icon to cut the lights on manually, parking lights, automatic, and daytime running lights off. The inside is your fog lights. When the headlights are in automatic and they cut on automatically as the sun's going down, if this is in that position with the fog lights on, your fog lights will come on every time. When they are in automatic, as I said, they'll cut on automatically as the sun's going down based on a sensor on the dash, and that is actually something that you can customize. You can customize the sensitivity of the sensor. Steering wheel audio controls, so there's volume up and down, preset station scan, so you can scroll through memorized stations there. Mode allows you to change audio mode, so AM, FM, XM, CD, things like that. And then we saw voice commands. And then you also have a multi-directional keypad, and this displays vital information that is going to pop up on the little screen there. You see it says 82 degrees. So that's the screen that is going to display what pops up using that multi-directional keypad. And the dot allows you to make the selection. So when you press that dot, it makes the selection that is displayed on the screen. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to be pressing left and right. And when I press left and right, you see up in the top of that it says I. I is highlighted along the very top. And then you've got a picture of what looks like a vehicle to the right, and then navigation, and then music. Okay, so I'm pressing right now. So inside of information, and now I'm going to press down. And then it's going to start with fuel economy information. And all I'm doing is pressing down right now. And then I'm going to press right, and that's the all-wheel drive information, four-wheel drive information. Right again, navigation information. If I have a navigation point that's entered into the nav system, that's going to show me my next directional command that I need to execute to stay on track. So it'll, say turn left in 2 miles. It's going to show me different navigational things. Audio. So when I cut the radio on, I'll see my memorized stations and everything. And you see where at the bottom there it says press the dot for source. And that dot is the little center. And so when I press the dot to change the source, I can see that it's going to bring up a whole list of the available sources. And some of them are highlighted in white and some of them are gray. See where it says disk? Disk is actually gray. And it'll skip right over to the next available one, Bluetooth auxiliary. So you can see all the different sources of audio. And then I can press the little dot down, and it'll take you to that source. And I'm going to press right again. That is radar cruise control and lane departure alert. And those are going to be here. And so I'm going to press this button here, and I'll see lane departure alert pop up. Unavailable below 32 miles per hour. Cruise control icon or stalk, I'm going to press that in, and that cuts on cruise control. It is not actually engaged right now, but it's ready. Okay, and I can see the cruise control icon on the dash, and that is right there. That's the radar cruise icon. And so now that says to me the radar is ready. So if I got up to speed, say 65, and I wanted to activate the cruise control, all I'm going to do is press down, press that to set it, and then the car basically takes over using the radar cruise control. Now, if I want to change the level of cruise control or the sensitivity, the distance that it's going to maintain between the LX and the car in front of me, I'm going to press this. So watch what happens when I press that. You see the 3 blue blocks right there in front of the vehicle? That is the furthest distance or the most sensitive that I have. So that's going to keep me at the greatest distance from the vehicle in front of me. I'm going to press it again. That's the second most sensitive. So it's going to be a little closer now. And that's the most, or the least sensitive, I should say. So now that is the closest that it's going to maintain between the front of the LX and the vehicle in front of me. And you can change that on the fly. You don't have to stop or anything. You can adjust that sensitivity right there in real time. Now you have a pages icon here. and that takes me to like the home screen of the informational screen. So I just pressed that, and I was in the radar cruise screen, but now I'm in the information screen. So that just kind of takes you back to where you were. You can see on the right side is your speedometer, and it is an analog speedometer. And then you have your voltmeter, fuel, tachometer, engine temperature, and oil temperature. Take a look at the wood on the steering wheel. That is all real wood, by the way, and it is the grain in that. I mean, look at that, the detail there, and it's actually kind of like a matte finish, and it is so really cool feeling in your hand. It feels like it's almost like an antique, but I'm pointing that out just because of the attention to detail. Look at the stitching there in the steering wheel, and that satin finish on that trim. And I love how Lexus combines elements, and this is what I mean when I say the fit and finish of a car. Lexus just does this better than anyone. All right, let's take a look at the buttons down here. And this is going to be on the driver's side door. And you see where it says auto in the very front, and it's lit up. Well, that means that it's automatically going to fold the mirrors in when I lock the doors. So when I get out of it and I lock the doors, the side mirrors right there are going to fold in automatically for me. I can deactivate that by pressing auto again. Now that light is off, and I can also manually fold them. So I'm going to hit the button in the top right corner, and now they manually fold. Okay, this is a good time to point out I've got my turn signal here, and you see the little LED light there on the corner of the mirror. It's kind of hard to see, but it's blinking, and you have those on both mirrors. And then the controls for your mirrors, you've got a little keypad right here, and that's left, right, up, and down. And when I press L, it lights up, and that gives me the control to control the settings for the mirror. Up, down, left, right. And so I'm going to get that set in place. Then I'm going to change the right side, get that all set in place, and then I'm going to get my seat all set the way I want to. And then I'm going to set the steering wheel position, you see here, so I can go down and up, and I can go in and out. And then once I have my seat and my steering wheel and my mirrors all set exactly the way I want, I'm going to press set there, and then I'm going to pick a number. Let's say number 1. And that just memorized my seat, my steering wheel, and my mirrors, and I can do that for up to 3 people. Your sunroof control is here on the right, and on the right side you press that to open it, and it is one touch. And then you have a SOS button, and that is for Safety Connect. Up and down, that tilts the back of the sunroof, and these are touch sensitive LED lights. Sunglasses. The mirror has Home Link in it, and you can see little buttons here at the bottom. That's where you can memorize your garage door opener. And that green button there cuts on and off the automatic dimming feature of the mirror.